and welcome back to season 3 of Grit and Grace Leadership Talks with myself, Kate Taylor. I'm so excited to do an in-person podcast today. I've got Tyler Maher with me, who is my actual chiropractor. And I thought with his experience in the field and business and health and well-being, I really thought it was a great chance to get you on here with me and have a chat with my audience. So thanks for coming, Tyler.
Happy to be here. Thank you.
Oh, it's such a great opportunity. I feel like, I have a lot of different people that help me with my health and well-being. And you're someone that's really helped me manage a lot of different health issues over the year. And so it's been so good to be able to share with people that follow me, someone like yourself who has helped with my health journey physically and emotionally because of the way you work as a chiropractor. So thank you so much for coming on.
No, it's a pleasure. I'm excited to do it.
Yeah, it's so good. And I just wanted to kind of ask you a few questions today. We're just going to have more of a chat and also hear more about your business and what you do and kind of the type of clients that you look after. So if you could, to get started, could you give us a bit of an idea of what you do to set up your day for success?
Yeah, okay. So to set up my day, the intention is always to have a successful day. So I start with that intention first.
Yes.
It doesn't always go that way.
I know.
The idea is often limited by time, though. So if I have no time, I am out the door on my way and go and get going. If I have the luxury of more time, there's a couple of things I like to do. So that's I check my diary. I go through the mental checklist of what I have to do that day, and I try and do the mental prioritization to work out the logistics of it so I can have a plan. The plans can change, but I like to have a plan at the beginning.
Me too.
If I've got even more time, I like to sit outside in the sun for a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Or even if it's not sunny, sit outside in the, not if it's raining, but just to sit outside in the day without any distractions. That can be for a few minutes or even up to 10 minutes, and that's just to kind of get your center.
Okay.
And then operate from there.
Great. Okay. That's awesome. I think it's important to have like an ideal day, and then how life actually runs. Some days don't always come to plan, hey?
Yeah.
But it's just good to have like if in an ideal world, I'd get up at this time, do this and that to help me succeed. And I know there's days where I know if I've mastered either doing a morning walk or like having a green juice, having my vitamins, just doing all those things that I know are good for me. Like when I start my day, I just feel like I go into the day in a better mindset and just kind of have more clarity and just feel like I can conquer anything in that day.
And the way, and the intention. I mean, if you wake up and go, oh, it's another day, and it is another day. But if you wake up with the intention in the right place of, I've got these things to do, I'm going to try my honest best at them, then that's what you can do. Right?
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's good to be kind to ourselves if we don't nail it every day.
Yeah, well, that does happen, right?
I know. Everyone I've interviewed so far have all said to me, oh, look, this is my ideal day, but this doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
And I love that people can be honest about that, because I think we look at people who are successful in business and life and we think, oh, they must just have like this perfect morning ritual every day and nailing it. And like, actually, it's not always the case.
No.
So it's good to know that we are all human too. Yeah. Can you tell me a bit about your career path that got you to where you are today? Because I feel like obviously we specialize in recruitment, so we help people in their career path and their journey. And I guess I'd love to hear about your journey and how you got to become a chiropractor.
Right. Well, finishing school, I didn't actually know what I was going to do in any way. So I had good marks, and I could have chosen to do a few different things. I worked in construction, and I worked in retail for a gap year after school.
Yeah.
And it was actually working in the construction part. I was just watching how people who were sort of over 40, and I was watching how they were just sort of pushing their bodies to do the job that they had to get done.
Okay, yeah.
And like some people could do that easily, but for a lot of people, it was really hard. And just observing that, I was thinking long term, I was thinking, well, hang on, if I enter this industry, I'm going to be pushing to get things done. I'm going to push my body.
Yes.
And then so I backtracked from that, turned it around, and thought, well, how could I help people to do that?
Yes, okay.
And then I'd always seen a chiropractor growing up. If I had aches and pain from doing whatever silly things I've done.
Yes.
And it always helped. So I thought that might be a really reasonable path. And so far it's been really rewarding.
Wow. And so how long have you been a chiropractor now?
So I graduated in 2011 was
Okay.
my last year. So that means this is like my 12th year out.
Wow.
I guess. So yeah, really long time.
I know, time flies, huh?
It does. It does when you're having fun. I mean, it's good. I still enjoy it, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then at what point, because a little bit of a different style of chiropractor, because I've had a few over the years, but working with you, I really enjoyed, you do something called NET. Now, I don't know what it stands for exactly, but I know how you do it with me and how it's helped me kind of release some emotions or feelings that have been coming up that we didn't know were there.
Yeah. We can talk about that more generally without sort of going into like exactly what we do. But so the NET stands for neuro-emotional technique, and it's one of the techniques we use in the treatment part of the process.
Okay.
So where it fits in is a broad example. So someone might come in with low back pain, right? And that's typically like the most common reason you go and see a chiropractor is pain in your frame.
Yeah.
So people are coming in, they've got some low back pain, and you're going through, you diagnose what the issue is, you start treating it, but then it's more when talking to the person that it's actually not so much the pain that is the biggest issue. The issue is that like the back feels so unstable that they don't get on the floor to play with their 3-year-old.
Okay.
So then it's about, you can start to identify what those factors are, because we're not just treating a low back.
Yes.
We're treating a person.
Yes.
And sometimes those issues are part of the whole, how you have to deal with those issues if you want to try and improve the whole person.
Yeah.
So it's a wonderful technique for kind of, help to identify what some of these emotions are around the issues that we have.
Okay. Yeah, that's really interesting, because some people, I've tried to describe it to people, like what we do, and then everyone's like, wow, that's so fascinating how you can find that out from something that happened when I was 17 was impacting that fear or overwhelm that I might be feeling now as an adult, right? And people were like, oh, it sounds a bit like kinesiology.
So it has,
a bit like that.
Yeah, so it uses a few different, part of it is applied kinesiology, which is some muscle testing. And part of it is where there's, what you end up doing is going through a list of emotions, basically.
Yes.
And one of them will resonate more than others. And it's actually about into an idea which is emotional granularity, they call it. So that's where, let's say a lot's going on and you're really stressed right now. And it's just trying to keep juggling, trying to keep everything going. Yeah.
Which is usually me when I come and see you.
But that can be overwhelming, right? And sometimes for your body to be able to process it and you to draw meaning from it, you need to know what the feeling actually is. Okay. So is it that you're feeling nervous about getting everything done because you want it all perfect? Or is it that you don't trust part of the business that you're doing with this certain person? Or is it because you're fearful of failure or whatever it might be? And then if you can help identify those, that part can just, really help you process it.
Yeah. And I think it's something that I found a bit more holistic, I guess, in chiropractor, that like you go for a physical problem, but then you can also tap into the emotional problem that can be linked to it. And if you can release both at once, the person goes out of your clinic for probably feeling a whole lot better, lighter, and also sometimes we have limiting beliefs or emotions that are kind of we're pushing down because we're so busy. And I think by coming to see you, it brings it a bit more to the surface. So then I can go, okay, what was going on at that age and why did I feel that way? So then I sometimes go away and like ponder on it and go, oh, maybe that's why I've been feeling like that. And it kind of makes you rationalize some of the crazy emotions we can feel in life.
Yeah, it helps you process them.
Process them in a way that makes you feel like, okay, I'm not losing the plot or I'm not going crazy. Like it's just a lot right now. And a lot, and it's bringing up some stuff from previous, like childhood or
Well, we often don't take time to reflect.
No, we don't.
If we're not on to the next thing and the next thing, we're filling in time by looking at our screens or reading or we're on the phone. Yeah. Doing a crossword or whatever it might be. But
we're so on all the time. And I was talking to someone else about this the other day on the phone, on a phone call. I was saying how, when our parents worked back in the day, it was 9 to 5. They clocked off at a certain time. They had landline phones. There was no mobiles. So they could switch off. Like you weren't as accessible. And I think in this world where we're always on, we've always got someone that can be reaching out to us or messaging us, or even if it's friends, like late at night I'm on social media, so that's how I
Sure.
feel like that all the time. There's always someone contacting me or messaging me, or I've got notifications or emails to reply to. And so it can feel like we're just on 24/7. And something that I'm trying to work on at the moment is looking at more, how do I get more deep intentional rest throughout my week? So I've been tapping into acupuncture recently as well. And that's been really, they put on a meditation when I do it now. So I found out that's the magic for me, because I'm quite a busy bee, restless person, as you know. So when I go to the acupuncture in the past, I just feel so restless laying there for so long, for like 30 minutes. I'm just like, oh, when is this going to be over? And then I felt like I'd get more anxious waiting for them to come and take the needles out. And so then when they put the meditation on, I've worked out that it just calms me and it distracts me. So it helps me be more centered to what I need to be thinking about, and instead of getting frustrated. And so I'm actually feeling like going out of that session feeling rested. And even after I have a session with you, I'm like, okay, I feel like I can walk a bit straighter, my posture's a bit better, I can tackle things a bit better.
It kind of brings you into your body a bit more.
And it's just I feel like we all need like a toolkit of people that are working with us to help fine tune us to keep us working at peak performance, right? Because we can't, even the top athletes or the top business people will all have people in your life that helps them succeed. And
you've got to have it's your support network, your support staff.
So whether it's chiropractor, whether it's physio, acupuncture, counseling, psych, like whatever it is you need to succeed, it's really important to have the right people in your corner that are supporting you on that journey and maintaining you to be at that level of performance that you want to be at. So what do you do for yourself and your own well-being to look after yourself?
Oh, yeah, okay. Well, it's a good question. So I kind of would put well-being in the frame of health.
Yes.
And the way I view health is that it's a continuum.
Yeah.
And so you're always trying to move this the scale, I guess.
Yeah.
And you can be more unhealthy, or you can really push it up into being more healthy. And I think that's true for everyone. Like even a triathlete will try and do more to improve their health.
True.
Just the same as an office worker.
Yes.
You can move that dial. So the fundamentals of that are your diet, your sleep, and your exercise.
Yes.
So that's how I engage with it. And diet doesn't mean I have the world's best diet at all times, but it means that we can talk about some more specifics in that. But then the other thing is sleep. So you need a certain amount. It does vary, but it's between 7 and 10 hours. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. You can't catch up on it the next day. It's just that day's done. You've got to try again.
Yeah, true.
And exercise is the same thing. If you can't really catch up on exercise you didn't do yesterday.
Yes.
You have to do something today.
Yes.
With all of these things, there's as much as we don't know about the body, we know how well these things work because we don't have any tablets that try and mimic, or they actually are working on. They're spending millions of dollars trying to get tablets that would mimic those three things, but we don't have them yet.
Yeah.
They're all actually within our grasp. We can do something about it.
Yes.
There's government recommendations for what the average person should do.
Yeah.
And I know we're not all average, but you can at least see what that is.
Yes, true.
And then know you need to do more. Like with exercise, so it's you're meant to do between 150 and 300 minutes of exercise in a week.
Okay. What do you do for exercise?
I walk. Firstly. And I run.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. And I do a bit of calisthenics with some rings and push-ups.
Oh wow, there
That's
you
the
go.
other thing. And that you're meant to do a bit of strength. You're meant to do 2 sessions a week of strength, and you're meant to be the rest of it is that 3 to 5 bits of medium cardiovascular exercise, which is your walking or running. Yes. Again, and you only need runners, and then you can do that.
Yes.
Free and easy. The diet one's a bit tricky, right? Yeah. Because if you're really busy, you might be eating a bit more takeout, or you might be cutting a few corners. You can even skip meals and all of that. But there are guidelines. You need a certain amount of fat, certain amount of carbohydrate, certain amount of protein. Yeah. Ideally, you get a bit of that in every meal. Yeah. Ideally, you're not eating trash.
Ideally.
And then you can just build on it from there. But if you don't get it one day, it doesn't matter. You've got to just do it the next day.
Well, I think something that I've been, I was watching like a reel on Instagram last night. I was talking about just doing micro habits. So like, just continuing, like doing something that, even if it's just 90 seconds, getting up and walking away from your desk, or having a phone call, walking around rather than just sitting, but like finding little things in your day where you can create little micro habits that might not seem like much, but can build up to be something good. And so like you've got to, not everything. Yeah. It's like, I think we have this image of what perfection should be, or optimal health or whatever. And then we feel like we're so far from that. Like, how do we even start? Like, oh, it's too hard. And so then we just self-sabotage, or we like, put it off, or life happens. Right. And so I think it's about picking something that you want to do each week to work on your health and well-being. And so, and then adding to that. So like, and then it's a layering effect, right?
It is. You've got to start small.
Yeah.
Nobody just gets up one day off the couch and runs a marathon.
No.
Like, well, you could, but gosh, you'd be in some strife after. And your time wouldn't be too flash. But yeah, it's about that small thing. So it's about what you can do today.
Yes. And I think some weeks we nail it, some weeks we don't, but just being kind to ourselves. I think looking at how we can get more intentional rest in our week is so important. Even 10 minutes a day, my psychologist was teaching me that 10 minutes a day meditation is enough to rewire those neural pathways in your brain.
Yeah.
So if you can just get 10 minutes when you first wake up or before bed, or find a time in your day if you're feeling stressed, just to take some deep breaths, like all of this is going to help regulate your nervous system and help you function better.
You're actually coping at all times.
Yes.
So you might be really stressed, and what some people might do is reach for that 6th coffee of the day. And that's fine.
Everyone has them.
Yeah, go for it. But you're not really making a rational decision about that. You're just doing that because that's what you do.
Habit.
Yeah.
And I think because sometimes as well, it's like that 3 o'clock slump. We always think, oh, I'm feeling like I need a coffee now, because that's a habit we've created.
Yep.
But actually, if we can break that to a peppermint tea instead and like just change it up, it'll be amazing what.
Yeah, all of a sudden you're changing the habit.
Yeah, and I think I've noticed that if I'm trying to change a habit, it's like, oh, it's just because my brain thinks, oh, it's that time of day, I'm going to do that. But it's not necessarily the best choice for me.
Right. I often think like that, our body kind of wants to do what it did yesterday.
Yeah.
So the habits that you have yesterday is what you do today.
Yeah.
So again, that's why today is the important thing.
Exactly. Focus on what you can control today, or if you've had a meal out where you've enjoyed yourself, the next day get back on and get into your healthy routine and have your salad instead, and just make better decisions. I think we're so reactive and busy that we sometimes don't make the best food choices or decisions because we're being reactive. And that's something I'm trying to be more mindful of. On Sundays, I do meal prep, and I prep like I've got these meal prep tubs from Kmart, and it's just got the different sections. And so you can actually prep all your food, and the salads stay fresh a week. And so you can section off the hot stuff, all the meat that you want to heat up, and then the cold stuff separate. And
and then you're done.
And then I just grab and go like today. So I think setting yourself up for success is so important, and having time on the weekend to prep for the week when you know it's going to be a busy one helps you make better choices. I think that's something that's helped me. And a lot of people look at my Instagram and go, oh, wow, you're like so organized. I'm like, not every week, but this week I'm there.
This week I am organized. Today
I am. But that's really good. And in terms of the types of clients that you would see in your practice in North Sydney, the My Body Spine Clinic there, what kind of, obviously you see me, you've seen my daughter, so I know you can see women and children.
Women and children. We see different ages, different genders.
Yeah.
And we might, it's actually changed, interestingly. Or maybe not so interestingly, but it's changed over COVID. Like we used to have heaps of office workers.
Okay.
And now there's just not as many coming in.
Oh, that's true.
Because there's not as many
going to the office.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we're a general practice. So we get people from a lot of different walks of life and different stages.
Yeah.
You have people that might be post-operative, so they've got had some back surgery or hip surgery, and in the process of recovering from that. We've got some really high class athletes too that would come in.
Oh wow!
And what they're after is a bit different to the sort of you might have the maintenance or the neck pain from desk posture office worker. But that keeps it really interesting for us because I love a new problem to solve.
Yes.
I think that is a really motivating factor for me. So to try and find out what's actually going on here. What are they doing that's moving the dial the wrong way? What can we do to help move it the other way?
Yeah.
We have a lot of dancers at the moment as well, which is a great section of the population to work with.
Well, I imagine a lot of them haven't been able to train as hard during COVID, and now it's getting back to normal life and routine. They're training more, so their really body's going to start to have issues, right? Because they've lost that. I know my daughter who does, as you've seen, gymnastics, like she in the school holidays has a break for a week or two, and coaches actually say it takes like a few weeks to get them back to what they were before the end of the break time, because just a week or two off can slow down their progress. And so I think it's really interesting because she trains 12 hours a week. How like that you'd think, oh, what can a week do? But it's
all about managing their fatigue, right?
Yeah.
Because more fatigue, high risk of injury.
Yes.
Then you're out.
Then you're out. Exactly. So you got to be so careful.
So it's all about managing that fatigue. Yeah. And they really, with that careful coaching, they sort of get them ready for the competition, and they'll back them off again and then get them up and ready.
Okay. Yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? I'm obviously watching her and her journey, and have brought her into, she's 8 now, and I've brought her in to see you each school holidays just to keep fine-tuning her body to help her be at peak performance and help her growth and everything, because a lot of people don't think of that.
And she's got an interesting, because of her age and gender and what she's doing, so she's very high on the flexible scale.
Yes.
But then, so that means she can really get to positions quite easily, but then you can really see how part of the body's overdoing it and some part is underdoing it.
Yes.
And we're just trying to help keep that in mind.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think when I did sport as a kid, like we would do like an hour a week of dance. Like it was never the level that our kids are competing and training at. And so I think it's so important. The thing I love as well about chiropractor is that I can come into you for one problem, but then you can also solve other problems in one session. So you can come in with a headache, and then you can be like, oh, but my hip's a bit sore, and then my foot's been hurting, and then like all in one session, you've been able to like align everything again. And so a lot of people don't realize that the importance of being able to solve a lot of problems in one. I find that's a good use of time.
Yeah, well, it is efficient, right? If we can get a great outcome, then that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why most people would come in to see the chiropractor, is they've got pain in their frame.
Yes.
And
I like that, pain in your frame.
So they'll be like, I've got this, my knee hurts at this, when I'm 8 Ks into my run, my knee hurts.
Okay.
You're like, okay. So then
that's a lot, 8 Ks.
Well, for some people, no, that's their warm-up part.
Oh,
and
gosh.
Then they're just getting to the meat of their exercise, and then the knee plays up. So, but then you start to look at, and then you see the foot and how the foot moves, and then you might look at the hip. And it's one thing can often lead to another.
Okay. Yeah, I get that. And they all link, obviously. So it makes sense. If your knee starts playing up, then it might impact your hip or it might impact your foot. So it all kind of links. Yeah. And so being able to treat all of that in one is really helpful. That's great. And in terms of to kind of round up our chat today, what would be your favorite quote? Obviously, I love quotes, and a lot of the stuff we talk about is about grit and grace in leadership and life. So what's your favorite quote around that?
Well, I spent a bit of time thinking about this, and I've got a terrible memory for reciting lyrics or poems or anything like that. So I've had to put all that aside. And I thought it's probably just more like a maxim, which is, it's the golden rule, which is do unto others as they would do to you.
Yeah.
And I think if you're trying to lead someone, or if you're trying to coach someone, or you're trying to help someone, the only way that you need to come across is that you need to come across about in the same way, with the same dignity and respect as you would like to be treated.
Yes, I like that.
So if you can carry that, then I think that works in all parts.
Yeah, I think it's a good reminder, isn't it? Because as leaders, we can be so go and get frustrated, especially with junior staff or people that aren't as experienced as us. And it reminds me that, like treating people how you want to be treated, or being like the boss that you wish you had,
Exactly.
And carrying that into how you handle situations and staff and people and life. So, I like that. Oh, thank you.
No worries.
Well, I really appreciate the chat today. It's been really great to speak with you. And if anyone is looking in Sydney for a chiropractor, please check out Tyler by Monty's Mind, Body, Spine.
Yeah, or tylercairo.com.au.
Yeah. Okay, great. And then we'll be in touch, and or reach out to myself. I can hook you up with the link as well. Thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed our chat.
Thank you. It was fun.
Thank you.
Me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Thanks for watching this episode today. We loved having a chat and you joining in with us. Please like or share or comment on this if you enjoyed it, would like more information, and have an awesome